What is up, guys? What is up, guys? I am Joseph, this is JosephsPlace, and welcome to this episode of RSucation, where I attempt to teach you something about RuneScape. Now, this episode we're going to focus on magic training, and specifically stun alching. And this method entails alching something and then immediately casting another spell on an NPC to interrupt your alching animation while also getting the XP for the other skill. And we're going to focus on either vulnerability, enfeeble, or stun, the debuffs that use soul runes. Now, you can use this same method with body runes, but honestly, it's a lot slower. You do save a little bit of money, but it is a lot slower. And after a while doing that, you're going to feel like an African doctor. You're going to lose your patience. So we're going to stick with things that involve soul runes. So without any further ado, let's get into the actual guide. Now, before you actually start casting your spells, you will need to have a very specific armor setup in order to do this effectively. And that armor setup is anything that gets you to -66 magic attack. This ensures that you always splash your debuff and really makes it so you can just keep casting spells on repeat. Now, to achieve this, you need to have your equipment, a very easy way of doing it is a set of full metal armor, plate legs, plate body, a kite shield, and then a full helmet of any metal. I think they all give the same negative magic attack. And then metal boots and vamp braces. This will get you to about -68 magic attack when you're wielding your mud staff, so that's exactly what we need. Now, in terms of other items, again, you will need a mud staff because that is the staff we're going to be using. It is the most cost-effective way of doing this. And then in terms of runes, you'll need your soul runes, nature runes, and then fire runes, as we will need to supply the fire runes for our alchs, and then just whatever item you want to alch. So yeah, that's really all you need as far as items. So let's get into the actual method itself. Now, the method is very simple. Basically, all you're doing is alching something, and while the high alch animation is going off, you're immediately casting either vulnerability, stun, or enfeeble in order to cancel the alching animation and then start the other animation. And then right when you start the other animation, you alch again, and it's just a constant rotation of canceling animations while getting the XP for the spell. Now, the reason that we had to have -66 magic attack is so our debuff always bounces, so that we're always able to cast that debuff right after we alch. Now, this may seem monotonous and very click intensive, but honestly, once you get going and once you get used to it, you'll be like a fat guy with momentum. You'll get rolling. And then once you get to that point, it's really easy to it's muscle memory at that point. It's really not that bad once you get into the swing of things. So let's get into the actual XP rates. Now, I mentioned vulnerability and enfeeble, and I'm not going to mention the XP rates for those spells. I will put them on the screen, but I'm going to focus on the most XP per hour you can get, which will be with using the stun and alch spell. So that is a minimum of level 80, but I will put the other ones up on the screen. So the XP per hour here is about 162 to 178,000 per hour. Now, the sample sets I used were ones that I could personally do without too much hassle. So I was able to average between 1,050 and 1,140 casts per hour of each spell. And that, I think, is a good example of what someone who is paying attention but not overly exact, not using AHK, and just playing the game, something that they're able to achieve within an hour. So I wanted to use XP rates that I could personally get, and that's what I was able to get, a little bit over 175,000 XP per hour on a good hour. Now, you may be thinking that you're going to be losing quite a bit of money with this, but really it's not too bad. I did the math, and currently, while alching green dragonhide bodies, which I found to be the least amount of profit lost for alching. There may be something else, but that's just what I found. Alching those, the GP per XP hour ratio, or the GP per XP ratio is about 1.39, which isn't that bad. Now, say you start at level 80 and you want to go for 99 using this method, you're going to be spending about 15 mil, which may be a lot to you, but in terms of magic training, it's not that much. For example, I know if you burst on Apatol, you can get much better XP rates, but it's going to be much more expensive. And again, you do trade off because that is AFKable for the most part, and this isn't, but you do save a little bit of money, and it's still very decent XP per hour overall. So I think it's a good mix, or a good intermediate between just solely alching and doing that for very cheap and bursting for spending a lot of money. So I think it's a nice intermediate way of training magic. So yeah, that's all I got for this guide. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it taught you something. And if it didn't, I hope maybe it just refreshed your memory on maybe another method to use to switch up the grind a little bit. But anyway, that is all I got for this guide. If you guys have any suggestions on any other guides you want to see in the future, let me know in the comments below. I do have a few planned up, so I hope to get those out to you within the next few weeks. But if there's anything you really specifically want to see, let me know and I'll do my best to get to it. But that is all I have for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time, I'll see you guys.